Uh,
There's the winter or what?
I have to officiate a wedding in September and they want me to look like this.
So you're live on
No.
YouTube, Mary Jo.
All right.
Okay.
Like you need a little more beer right now.
If you have to officiate a wedding in September, they want me to. You know, there's Mary Jo.
Any objections if we start a little early?
Nope.
6 now. Well, in that case, let's call this meeting to order. It is August 11th, the year 2025 at 6 o'clock. All the councilors are present. Mary Jo is on Zoom. I'll remind everybody that we are being nationally televised, worldwide televised via the YouTube channel. And with that in mind, we're all potential actors, okay? Like, Greg Jones is here. I'm gonna introduce, Greg. Greg wants to talk about CCMG, so I'm gonna move him up to the beginning of the agenda, so he can make his comments. Cause I know that he wants to go fishing.
No, it's too hot.
It's a full moon.
Even standing outside.
Yeah, okay, it's all yours.
No, I've been kind of looking at what maybe we can get done this year as far as road work and looking at South 9th Street and 600 that were both cold in place recycling. And it's been five and 6 years, I think, for both of those. And it's time to put some type of there's a product that's kind of a rejuvenator that puts the asphalt oils back into the surface, and you know, it's really dry and showing a lot of aggregates. So I'm looking at that. I'm looking at the double micro that we just finished up above the neighborhood above, doing that on Prophets Rock and Jefferson Streets. On crack seal before they do that, but I'm not able to get all the estimates together yet tonight, so hopefully by next month.
Is it micro sealing like what they did in Augur and Shawnee?
But generally, they'll want to do a crack seal ahead of that, and this year, Pavement Solutions is down to apparently one crack seal crew, so that may change what we can try to get done this year as far as that goes. So.
And so your suggestion is to,
Well, at this point, I'm just for Georgia wanting to get estimates together, just so we have an idea of what we're looking at, and then what you guys can afford to shoot.
and we need to have that application, that grant application in by
That's October,
October.
but I think Georgia's indicated she might need to transfer some money
Yeah,
45 days before that or whatever, so I'm just trying to.
and so you'll take care of contacting everybody. Is there any objections to Greg's suggestion on what roads to cover?
It's a Prophets Rock.
Jefferson, the one north out of town will be the two right now. Sometime, and I don't know how, you know, we're gonna have to look at south side of 600 all the concrete, but I just don't know. You know, it's between expensive proposition.
That's not the first time we've done the micro sealing like we did in Shawnee Ridge, is it?
Yes,
It is.
yeah. Yeah, both neighborhoods.
That was the first time, but that's not the first time.
North
we've done it.
Railroad.
North Railroad.
Yeah, we did North Railroad, well, this has been done College and Winans. All of those were done the year before, so.
There's areas up there, I'm not even saying where we're tracking right now, but aren't holding up really good. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just talking from traffic coming in and out of driveways. That's peeling up.
Yeah, I mean, it unfortunately, I don't know, I've seen it here in the parking lot. You know, I don't know what the solution is. Some of the other treatments, they want you to stay off them for 24 hours. So,
Right. No, it's just an observation up there.
yeah. I mean, not everything's peeling up.
No, it's no, I
But
agree with that.
You're losing some of it, but I think, you know, with what we're looking at, it's the best practice we can do. Actually, this Liquid Roads that I've looked at, down on the south side, they just did a little neighborhood, 2 or 3 blocks. Is a nice product, but some of our roads are a little further gone than that, so we've got to do something that, you know, the aggregate helps, it levels the road, it fills in a little bit and just kind of pulls a little more than just, you know, a single type of surface treatment. So,
Any questions for Greg? Yes, unless you have something else to consider. Okay, thank you, Greg.
thank you.
Mr. Town Attorney,
Question, are we putting in when you say October 1st, this is not a CCMG application, this is local funds only, right?
Well, I mean, it could be. But well, at this point, it may be a CCMG because we may not be able to do it until next year.
Okay. So the application deadline is October 31st?
Somewhere in October.
Yeah, it's the month of October.
I'm just trying to figure out my responsibilities right now.
Well, I'm hoping to have, I mean, unfortunately, talking with Chris Oaks, that we do the double micro and the crack seal. Even if we did the rejuvenate, he would do that crack seal probably. He's down to 1 crew this year, so we may have a tough time getting anything done this year anyway.
So is the answer that you don't know yet?
Yes,
Okay,
If it's a CCMG application, or it's going to be a 2026
Yeah.
budget item.
well, yes, but there was a question whether the roads should wait that long.
yeah,
And I
ideally, some of this I would like to, that's why I wanted to see if we could handle some of it outside of the season.
We have money in the MVH fund. It is not budgeted. And that's why I said tonight's important to me, because we should start the additional appropriation process and it affects my budgeting for next year. So if we're gonna do it this year, I kind of have to know in the next week or so to start the additional appropriation process. You need to agree to it tonight. I get the advertising started so that you can approve it in September, or you're not gonna have it for any payments due this fall.
Well, I have the one estimate, I don't have the rejuvenate estimate, that estimate is, I'm gonna say we're just under 40,000.
So if it's important to the council, I would say consider passing a motion to do the additional appropriation so I can start with the advertising. And if you don't use it, you don't use it. But if you don't start the additional appropriation, you don't have it.
Ideally, 609th Street, or I would like to do this year, I would like to do Prophets Rock, I mean, that we may look at something else. But, I don't know, I mean, I haven't talked to the actual rep from Rejuvenate, I've talked to the office and she's put in the request. I don't know that they don't do their own crack seal, they probably do.
I don't know that.
So, I mean, it's still possible that could get done this year, I just don't know for sure.
What's the total amount you would say you would want in the additional? Because you don't have to use it all or any of it, like you said.
There is plenty of money if we put it in the budget. There's,
I would suggest 40 to 45,000.
So Georgia, you're asking for
That's just to do,
9th Street and 600.
but not the rejuvenate.
No, that I'm hoping is in the realm of that price. That's given me another $10,000 over what this other estimate was.
You
So
know
I'm
what
just-
your exposure was up at Shawnee to kind of, is that what you're, are you able to use those numbers to a certain degree? I mean, that's a year old, but
No, I'm using Seal Masters numbers,
Oh,
which is a similar product,
Gotcha.
but probably not as robust for our 2 main roads.
What was the cost again, Greg?
Well, the estimates right now I have are around 35,000, but again, Rejuvenate, I don't know with the crack seal, we could be in a little bit higher number, so I'm saying
can we go $100,000 and that way we're covered? I mean, if you don't use it, I mean, is that,
I would say no. If
Okay.
you want to budget any money additional for next year. You've
Hmm.
got, we didn't spend the local road and street or the MVH a year or so ago. Because it was promised for CCMG, but that bill didn't come in until this year, so it's all in this year's budget. So it's sitting in the bank, that 50,000 is there, no problem. 100, at this point in the budget process, 100,000 when you don't know for sure that you're even gonna use it's a high number, but 50,000
So if we make a motion for 50,000,
for an additional appropriation, you're not agreeing to the project, you're just
We're bringing money for it.
bringing the money out to the budget.
Did I hear a second? Second. Motion by Mary Jo, was that a motion?
sort of. Mhm.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to add to appropriations of $50,000 for road repairs.
Second by Steve Hahn. Counselor, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I think you said I, didn't you? You could concentrate in there.
Mr. Hahn, did you say aye? Yeah. Oh, sorry. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Well, any other questions for Greg? Thank you. Mr. Burns?
Thank you, sir. UMH seems to be like pulling teeth. The minutes indicate accurately that I said at the last meeting that we should have a final product to consider as far as an agreement from UMH in terms of their contribution to the overall project. Most importantly, phase one, which is all theirs, 600,000. And Mr. Buck and I have been rattling their cage and they don't seem to care.
They've been slow to respond. There's been some vacations.
Well,
Alan was on vacation.
I know.
But still, yeah.
We've all had vacations. My suggestion is that we go ahead and start looking at what it looks like to do the project without their participation. And that wouldn't be a bad message for them to understand. Which means maybe they want to do their own work on their own and try and get their own sewer plant approved through IDEM.
So no phase one.
Well, that's what I would suggest. We need to know. We're not hearing back from them. There's no explanation why we're not hearing back from them. Everything was roses in April.
Mhm.
Let's go back. It's been pretty far. Everybody's got all thumbs up across on all the Zoom calls, you folks had. I was in on one of them with their lawyer. Nobody said a discouraging word, and so here we are in August and we're not getting anything from them. So my suggestion is that we ought to have our financial advisor look at what it looks like if they do not participate. Again, I'm going to, without knowledge, I'll assume the worst. How about that? I'm paid to assume the worst. And so the worst that I will assume is that they're not interested and they want to go through the entire process of getting their own sewage plant through IDEM.
May I make I'm gonna make a couple comments.
Yes, sir.
Backing the conversation up a little bit. Phase two. The proposal is that they pay 50%. That's about, and phase two is about $45 million. No, $4.5 million. I argue, why are we giving them a loan of $2 million? I will argue, let's rescind the offer. See what they say?
Well, I wouldn't advise rescinding. I would advise sending the message and see what they say.
Well,
Once you rescind, you've rescinded and not sure that's our best interest.
well, I question why we need to pay any percentage of phase two. Because that is serving them at this moment 100% of the time. And it's speculation of the development coming down the line. That may or may not happen. I look at the development on 43 and, south of 600. It's taken years and it's still in a log jam. Why do we think the development is going to happen, north and west of 643? So why are we loaning them $2 million? If we take this bond out, we're saying, you don't have to pay $2 million for your, you know, why are we doing this? I don't understand. Give me a reason. Why are we loaning them $2 million? And what do I have, what am I missing here?
Well, the proposal is that they give $2 million in order to do phase two. And
But we're still covering up the other half of it.
Well, and that's-
Why are we doing that?
well, that's fine. I think my point is, and it takes in exactly your point, is that we don't know what they want to do. They're not responding the way they should respond, and in my view, we ought to take the position that we're gonna take a look at what it looks like without their participation. And I don't know what that looks like, but remember, the law is set up to allow this town and every town to make sure that they stay ahead of their wastewater needs. I mean, that is the way the law is structured, that's the way the tax rate structured, it's the way the financing structured. Everything's set up so that every town can look ahead and say, hey, let's plan for this area. Now, not every town has UMH. And a lot of towns don't have a UMH, quite frankly, because in some ways, that's the kind of, when you look at the percentage of money that they're putting forward, that's a lot percentage from them. Is it a loan to them? It's a loan to the future of the town, but we don't have anything from them. And so we're almost at the same spot, because if they're not in on the 600, believe me, they're not in on the 2 million. They're not in on the 600 serves only them. Let's just think that through. They've got to have sewer service. We provide it. We've said, you pay 600,000, which covers 100% of the cost. And they are not committing to that. And so if they're not committing to that, then they must have a better plan than that. And what's that leave them with? Going to IDEM and get a sewer permit, which would take them how many years?
More than 600.
Yeah, it'd take them a lot more than 600.
Ron?
They would never get approved.
That's kind of my point.
I didn't would likely deny that because
I understand.
regionalizing. And
And that's a good message for them to hear. So,
Haven't they started putting trailers out there?
Huh?
Haven't they started adding out there?
Yes, they've added about 50 already.
and it may be that by tomorrow afternoon this time, they've said, oh yeah, sorry, you know, my cat died and couldn't get to it. And we're sorry, son, here, take it. My cat just died, so.
Okay,
Using that as an excuse.
so whether or not we're loaning them $2 million or we're covering the cost of $2 million. Why are we doing this for them? Well,
Not necessarily, I mean, to Eric's point, we're not necessarily doing that for them, I mean, we're setting ourselves up for future development out that way. Again, whether it comes or not, we don't know that, we none of us have a crystal ball, but the reality is, we either do it now or we pay a whole lot more later.
yeah, the land use plan, which we spent 6, 9, 12 months developing, it showed no interest in developing north and west of 43 and 600.
I would say that at that point in time, when we were working that, I mean, look at the different stuff that's looking at coming to Lafayette, West Lafayette right now.
That has been on the discussion at that time also.
You're already starting to see some of this stuff move.
We're not seeing anything move in our town.
We have no shovel ready.
Lot of
place.
stuff.
I mean,
It's about shovel ready.
it is, it's about shovel ready.
We are shovel ready in a portion part of it.
Well,
Yeah,
not shovel
we
ready out there.
can cover part of the lift station. The lift station has capacity for a certain amount. So I don't buy that argument. Totally.
You aren't talking to developers and.
They're looking for large areas of real estate currently.
Well, I just thought I'd get it on the record, you know. Why is the town gonna carry the cost of $2 million for potential development, which may or may not happen, and it's highly speculative at this point? So,
But I guess, can I say something?
absolutely,
I-
Mary Jo.
Yeah, I don't see it as speculative. We've had a lot of people. I think if this was already done and in place, people would be building right now. I think they're holding off because they're waiting to see just exactly if we're going to make this move and get it taken care of. And I see nothing but growth happening out there. And I don't see it as us giving them money. I see it as an investment for Battleground and their growth and the betterment for the community.
So, Mary Jo, be argumentative here with you.
Yeah,
Growth. You know, what kind of growth? So we're talking more traffic? You know, is that, I mean, that's gonna be a side benefit of growth. You know, what are they bringing to us? I'm
so,
just-
so the one thing that they're bringing to us is an ability to pull in more money for our town so we can do more for our people. That's one of the things that I see happening. Another thing I see happening is I don't think growth is always a bad thing. You know, if we get that hotel out there and it creates jobs and it creates a better life for our people, that'd be wonderful, right? And do we have any guarantees? No, but as long as we still stay diligent and we keep working towards all of these things and making things happen, I think we're going to be in a good shape. You know, and I think at some point, Woods Edge or whatever they call themselves now, will figure out that they have to do this. And I think we should take advantage of the situation and make this all work for everybody. Because I would hate to see all those people at Woods Edge end up without any sewage system.
That's not gonna happen.
You know what, right now we're pretty darn close.
Times that all of you need to head with Ron and walk through that woods to the creek.
I'm not saying anything
See
about
that
that.
existing system.
No argument there.
Yeah, we need to move forward.
Or something catastrophic happening.
Mhm.
Fair enough, but again, why are we subsidizing them when there's no guarantee for growth out there? Yes,
Isn't one of the thoughts that you had, maybe you mentioned it and I was on another lane in my brain, but if they don't sign their service agreement for the money that goes to the gateway phases, is it possible for us to set up a new service agreement that says, okay, you don't want to buy into this project right now, so you assume all of the repair responsibility to that old line that we're trying to abandon. In addition to paying for the lift station, you are now responsible for the old main that goes through the forest and under the creek
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
deep that we can't repair it when it has an issue.
Sure, that's an alternative. And I mean, these are not stupid people. These folks know what they're doing. They understand what they're facing. If they have a catastrophic event, as you said, and they will do what they can to avoid that. So,
But-
you know, they're,
You said withdraw the agreement, but what I thought I heard you say was replace the agreement with, okay, this one isn't, you know, you're not operating on this, we have a time deadline. We have to fish or cut bait, so here's your alternative, you become responsible for this system that you're not participating in the new one that we want you to have,
And-
so you take full responsibility for the old one.
and use it as a
And
negotiating
be
point.
leveraged to get the signature,
yeah, the leverage exists because they need sewer service and they're not gonna do it on their own. So
but we
Which
don't give them an
alternative?
end date,
I don't know whether that's a good thing or not to make that argument to them.
we're not giving them an end date.
What was the price last time we had a problem up there? About 100,000?
Yeah,
It was like 150.
That was 3 or 4 days.
Huh?
That was only 3 or 4 days.
That's 5 days.
We have a major break back in that woods and
Yeah.
by that creek.
Well, that's what I'm
It's,
saying.
it's just to get back there is gonna cost a fortune.
Mhm.
That line crosses the creek twice.
but in any case, if there is an alternative proposal.
Sure.
And they assume responsibility for it. Okay, fine. Again, I still feel that the town is carrying the burden that, of $2 million that, you know, we're having a hard enough time to finance the wastewater sewer project anyway. And if we can reduce that burden, if we do phase whatever form phase 2 is in, if we don't have to finance that, it's like we're $4 million that we're not having to carry. I'm just throwing the argument out, counselors, Mary Jo. So
Yeah.
On that, how's that look? I mean, from long-term for us, I mean.
I guess I'm struggling a little bit with the loaning $2 million, because if you break it down to any individual ratepayer, that's the same case for any bond that you would have.
Yeah.
And the utility as a whole, the solution to provide service to Woods Edge or anyone else in that area, the best value is the phase two, we feel like it, that we've proposed in the master plan, a solution for them only. New lift station, new force main, whatever it might be that they foot the bill, only serves them and is much more than that. So we need to honestly get to the bottom, explaining that to them or making that more clear to them to say, you're gonna spend $4 or $5 million on your own to solve your own problem. But the net benefit for the utility is you can help solve your problem for that lower number and do phase one and phase two. Plus then it sets the stage for the utility ratepayers to have, when the time is right, whatever that may be, additional ratepayers to help foot the bill. And as Mary Jo said, provide more revenue and more income to the utility to grow.
What does that do if we don't do phase two, as I guess,
As contemplated,
as contemplated for the development up to 43?
If you don't do phase two as complicated as initially proposed. I guess the kind of benefit of phasing it phase two and three, phase three can technically happen on its own.
Okay.
The way that it's currently conceptualized and designed has additional capacity and flow conveyance capabilities to be able to take that flow from Woods Edge. And I think in an earlier discussion today, one of the items that we had talked about was quote unquote oversizing certain sections to be able to take that theoretical development. And if we look at what the cost associated with oversizing is, it's a relatively small magnitude of the overall project. For example, and not everyone has dealt with utility type projects like this. For example, if we've got a gravity sewer section that's going in, based on potential growth that could come in, say it needs to be a 15-inch pipe. If we're looking at known flows, known quantities, not looking at any future, maybe it's a 12-inch pipe. The cost magnitude difference between those two, and Matt, as a contractor, you can attest to this, it's negligible.
It is, it's just the cost of pipe. Works the
You're
same.
still digging essentially the same trench, you're backfilling the same trench, you're surfacing the same trench, same total footage. So that's where we had kind of seen phase two flowing into phase three. Phase three could happen on its own. But even if you ignore phase two as ever happening, it's not a huge cost of taking that one on its own.
So back to the essential problem of
Yep.
getting an agreement from
Yes.
UMH. So obviously they're not responding to what's been going on so far. So
yeah, and they, as you know, the council's already on the track to do phases 1, 2, and 3. That's already been voted in. The only way that changes is if the council overrules that, which you can do at any time you want up until the time it's funded, I suppose. But right now it's on that track. They know that if they're paying attention, which they are. But I think it's an important message to give them, and it may be that they say, okay, we're sorry, again, my cat died. We need to adjust this though. Well, if they need to adjust something of any size, it's coming right back here. Because we're not gonna say, oh yeah, that's great, because you folks have not approved what that little adjustment is that they may want. So we may see this again, and I worry about that because of this time rolling, that sort of thing. So I would suggest that if we don't get an unqualified, yeah, sorry, we're signing now, that we probably would want to involve some of the council members to be sort of the point of the spear, so that you would be involved with us in the negotiation and could say in principle, yes, we two council members, because you can only have two, we two council members, we agree to the change you're suggesting, but it needs final approval from this council. And so they would act as a subgroup, because otherwise we're a month, and that gets to the end of the year real fast. You could have work sessions in between, but I'm not sure you want to do that for small changes to the contract.
so what do you think about George's conversation on having them be responsible for all the maintenance if we don't come to an agreement?
Yeah,
Can we go ahead and enact that
Well,
They
I-
have to sign that?
What I fear is if you do that, then the overall picture doesn't look as good for the town. Because again, the 600,000 they're paying is for them, right? We know that. That is benefiting them and them alone. Now, we get rates for the next 25 years off of that improvement, so it helps the town too. But that is something that we just fixed their problem. We haven't fixed all our problems. You know, we got all the potential of the catastrophic
If I
break
could
and all
add,
that.
the
Go ahead.
600 temporarily fixes that problem.
Good.
They still have the risk of that 3 mile force main.
Yeah,
If it
exactly.
goes down.
So it's
So in the-
a short term fix. So I guess my suggestion is that I do not think offering them an easy out for 600 is smart. Because
We
it's
still own
too
the
easy.
system.
It feels too easy and it's not even smart for them.
We still own it,
Same.
even if they have to fix it, we
Darn
still
right.
own it. I mean, it's still ours.
Yeah.
We're
That's right.
responsible. If we have a
Yeah.
catastrophic failure, yeah,
Yeah.
they may have to pay it, but
Right.
that man over there is. the
I
one
damn
that-
talked to the.
I know something I do.
Yeah, they're coming after us, nobody else. So that really is, to me, that's.
Yeah.
We need to get the message that we're looking at other options. Maybe that's one of them, but I think we don't need to give them more information than we need to get. I agree.
One of the reasons well, unfortunately, if they're tuned into YouTube channel,
Understood.
they're seeing all of this conversation anyway.
Everybody's tuned into YouTube. Internationally. But if they're smart, they are, and that's okay.
Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
absolutely right, absolutely right.
So who's the appointees gonna be for this committee?
Have we given them any kind of timeline at all? Have we given them any kind of?
Oh, yeah, we have. I expected to be done in June. Am I thinking right? Because we had that telephone call.
We eventually had a phone call in, I believe it was June, and we had given them the timeline for wanting to give the council a pretty definitive answer like this week.
Yeah, we've given them out. This was the date. This has been the date.
That's
We gotta have it by August for our timeline. And a week ago, you pinged them, I pinged them immediately after that. You pinged them on Friday, maybe? So I mean, we're trying to get their attention.
You actually make
And
a
there's
phone
been
call or
several
we
touch
just?
points.
It's been email,
Email.
they've been responding,
What is our leverage? Well, I don't see the leverage here.
So the leverage is that we're looking at other options.
What other options?
We'll find out, they'll find out when we tell them. That's,
And so when do we discuss that?
well, we tell them that right away. That happens now.
right now.
That happens now. They need to understand that we have no time. And that we're gonna have to look at other options that don't involve them, and whatever that means to them, that means to them. That's their problem, not ours. And I agree that we ought to have an idea of if they make a change and it's Thursday of this week and we want to respond to that change and say, yes, we can do that. You know, we can't say yes. We can say, hey, sounds like a good idea, but we've got a council that needs to hear this. To me, it's better to have a couple people, because again, you can only have two, who would say, yeah, that's okay with me, that's okay with me. That's two heads out of the five, and that is very helpful.
Counselors' comments?
Ron's not a voting member, so.
And he could be,
He could be
but
one.
it should be, yeah, I'm not excluding Ron at all, it's just, you gotta, have less than the majority of council.
I don't see the leverage yet on how to get them to go unless they know that.
The leverage we have is the best leverage we've got, so that's all I know.
And, if they know that, well, if they don't sign, they're still, well, we still have to have an agreement or a document that says, if you don't sign, you're gonna be responsible for any failures of the existing system.
Well, they still would have to sign that. They're not on the hook just because we tell them they're on the hook, they're on the hook because they signed the on the hook.
I thought they were, for lack of a better word, out of contract. Because the agreement has expired and they haven't
There is
they
no,
haven't renewed, so
they're just a ratepayer at this point.
what exposure do we have if we say, okay, we don't need your signature, you're now responsible for your system? And if you want us
It's our
to,
system,
It's our system.
it's our asset.
My point is that either of those alternatives need a signature from them, either the plan as we put
Connect,
together
disconnect.
or an alternate needs a signature. It's ultimately our problem.
so there is no out of contract where the town doesn't have a responsibility to them.
Well, no, IDEM would certainly say, hey, you got people to serve.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
How about we raise the fees on,
Well, yeah,
Well,
that
you
would
can-
be the other leverage,
can-
would be the
You
fees
can
would be
have,
high
you
enough.
can have
for them.
rates for particular users based on
I
their
think that's
usage.
the
and-
leverage.
I'm sorry?
I think that's the leverage you're asking for, Jim, is to say we're going to lean on you as a special rate class and it's gonna be SP.
Mhm.
so.
There you go.
We need to send them a document saying that we're gonna raise their fees, triple their fees. Whatever it is, what's a reasonable?
The concern there is they pass those on to the residents that live there and they really don't. have
That can't
any
afford it, yeah.
afford it. So they're gonna play that balance between what the residents can afford and what they might have to subsidize to keep it lower.
But if the rates are high enough, it's like the residents are gonna move out.
Right.
Well, then, that's back to the
Then we
point
have
is,
some-
Is what my-
Then we got a problem, we got a pile of shit out there that nobody's gonna want. That's
Well-
the bottom line.
It'll reduce the flow.
Are we trying to grow battleground or shrink it? I guess that's.
I think increasing rates is a good option for them to be thinking about. Again, being very specific at this point is not to our advantage.
Yeah.
We told them what we needed for months. We need to let them stew on it a little bit. Let's not make it easy for them, because they're the ones that are making it hard for us.
Yeah,
Meantime, everything's to a standstill. For all the development, all the potential development east of whatever. And if they're listening to this, they're thinking, oh, boy, and all the development, all the Gateway Sewer Project, I mean. It's to a standstill, basically,
Another reason to have
because until we get that agreement.
another reason to have a subgroup, because a subgroup is not a public meeting. This is a public meeting. I don't like to negotiate in public.
Oh.
Not really an advantage, and the law allows us to do it for that exact reason. And so that's why I think having two council members when we need you would be the way to go. So we can have that conversation. And you can say, yeah, that's a good idea, or no, it's a bad idea, and at least give it a little bit of momentum. So that you got two people that have already thought about it before we bring it to the council.
Fine, let's set up this committee. Let's get this going.
I would volunteer.
Mary Jo's one counselor.
I volunteer.
I mean, okay,
Your appointment, sir.
I appoint Mary Jo and
Ed,
our new representative. Sorry. Anybody else? Ron,
yes.
3 people. Okay. Beautiful, he's gonna run, so. So Eric and who,
Dave and whoever from his shop. And your guys have, you just keep the lead as long as you need it, as long as you want me, or when you want me, you let me know.
The attorney responded when you chimed in.
Really?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't like it, because he's an attorney,
Well, it's
he
attorney.
don't license it.
I like the record show, I'm not against the growth and development. I like to have smart growth. And I'm not interested in increasing the financial burden on battleground residents, and. I've expressed my concerns about what appears to me as, carrying $2 million for development that might happen 10 years from now. And like to have the record show that. With that, any comments? We're gonna move on from this topic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jewett Street, Ron, did you hear from Kyle in my office? We got a better idea. My associate came up with a better idea. I asked you folks and you gave authority to go ahead and file the suit. He believes that he went back through the list of problems. And all the problems that are there can be remedied with our lien process. We've already sent them the notice, said you gotta do this. So we're in a position to do the work, whether we get a contractor, whether we use our own forces, making it safe. We don't want to do structural repairs to the house, but anything that's in that yard ready to fall on somebody's head. Any vermin attractors, if there's junk laying around, whatever needs to be cleaned up to put that into a safe position. We are in a position to do that whenever you can get the job done. With
Okay,
a contractor or with your own forces.
Jansen and I did look in the car. The door's unlocked.
Why not?
There's no activity inside that car.
Nothing. So that is a violation of town code to have an inoperable vehicle. It's licensed or no?
Well, I mean, it takes long expired.
Well, so is that considered licensed?
No.
Okay.
No,
So you got a
not
couple
for town
reasons.
ordinance anyway.
Again, every town ordinance that's in violation, and that's why it was a little chancy for a while, but I think everything in there that really matters, every violation inside that property is covered by a town ordinance, because part of our town ordinance says that we are taking the county ordinance and making it ours, so it covers a lot. And so you can do that at any time. Keep track of your hours if you do it. If you get a contractor, they're gonna give us a bill. And we'll put the bill on as a lien.
And so does that include securing the integrity of the roof?
I don't think we should do that much.
Just put
It is a
part-
violation, but if somebody falls through the roof, and I worry about that. I think to keep critters out, you gotta do it to keep critters out,
Okay,
then that's one thing, but to do it to protect the inside of a house, that if the thing goes up for sale, somebody's just gonna raise that structure and build a new house.
and so how about trees, cutting limbs?
If it is a hazard,
Okay,
if it's ugly, that isn't good enough. If it's deemed a hazard, if it's a danger, you look at it, half rotten, you take her down. Okay, so that'll make things easier, and then it's just a matter of putting a lien on, and that property's, I don't know, what's the value of a residential lot in this town, you suppose, if it was clean? Cause you're gonna spend 25 to tear that down, take it off.
Steve,
50-75,
What? Oh, the value.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're high prices. I mean, I'm always surprised when I heard one over 100 for a residential lot from Tippecanoe County, which I thought was high.
Well over it,
And I know I'm not keeping up.
well over it.
and so Eric,
So ready to go.
BJ put a violation notice on the door.
Yeah.
Does that timestamp it? I mean, or did it need a timestamp?
Well, not particularly.
Okay.
Except you got it documented that how long that condition has lasted, so we can give them a fine for every day that it's occurred.
So that, I'm not sure about every day, respectfully with that, after Ron mows it, then once the grass or weeds then become in non-compliance again, that would reset
Right.
another one, so.
Yeah, you just got it.
But we cleared.
Yeah, you just keep track of it. But.
They had another citation today.
Oh, is that right? Yeah, so at some point, we may want to roll up all those fines. If they get big enough, and that's when you go to small claims court to get a judgment for, because you can't get a lien. Until you get a judgment for those kinds of things, but you can get a lien and clean up. There's the difference.
When you know that, you knock all them weeds down so the neighbors' houses don't look. Huh?
We did last
time. Well, there was still weeds all in the back there when you drive by. You mowed the grass, but the weeds and stuff needs to be knocked down. Okay. Weeds are about that tall back there. Okay.
And this is the house on High School? No.
Hewitt.
On Jewett.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ask a question.
It just
You
makes the
have to
neighbors.
do this extra work above and beyond your other stuff that you have to do, because I don't see it, but okay.
I mean, we fit it in. Jansen and I have a pretty decent system going. When it's mowing time, we each jump on one and.
Well, I guess what I'm saying, not so much the mowing, but any of the extra stuff, like if you're securing the structure or anything like that.
That will not, Ron doesn't do those anymore.
I've got bids on tree work and
Yeah.
house work.
That's-
So we'll go get them. You just let us know. Yes, ma'am.
Did I hear you say that the fines, the violation fines are not part of the mechanics lien?
Yeah, they're not part of the lien. You have to get a judgment for that. The only way you can get a lien without going to court is this process we just talked about. Because they're in violation and because we are spending town money to fix it, then they owe the town that money.
The $20 lien for finding them in violation is not part of the.
No, it doesn't become an automatic lien until we've actually got a lawsuit and win the lawsuit, but that's a pretty easy lawsuit, trust me, and it's small claims, it's
Okay.
very low cost, doesn't take much time. They're set up to move them through pretty quickly at small claims court. So they've got a 10,000 limit, so.
At what point will we go to sheriff's sale with this thing now?
Well,
How long can
that's a
we-
great question, because taxes are still paid.
It won't be a sheriff's sale, it will be a tax sale.
Well, it may be, yeah, for the lien, it'd be a tax sale. If we get a judgment, we can foreclose just like a bank would on a mortgage.
The
But-
bank forgave the mortgage. They are.
Did they really?
Yeah,
Okay.
without talking to the
That's
town,
that's pretty desperate.
They
That tells
clean
all
their
you need to
books.
know.
without talking to
If a
the.
bank gives up a mortgage, they really, they got there. So they know it's a terrible condition.
I'm just trying to figure out when the town can actually get out underneath this problem.
Yes.
That was always.
Yeah, and when you have a lien, our liens, like we were talking about here, not a judgment lien, meaning that you're in your court, but our lien through the municipal law goes with the tax sale. And so we'll get paid at that point, but tax sale is a big long thing. If he pays his taxes, then the lien is still there and we have to foreclose the lien. We can do that.
Okay.
Takes us some time, unless they just don't pay the taxes. And I don't know why they'd be paying the taxes if they're not paying the mortgage. You know, what are they trying to say?
Any other questions for Eric on this topic?
When can it be done?
As soon as they're done, we'll put together all the numbers and put the lien on it. And
So
are
it's
you
a
looking now?
structure.
I see you over there, George, online. Are you looking for tax stuff?
Yeah,
It's an unsafe structure, right?
Yeah.
Part only because of the broken windows, correct?
Yeah, and that, we talked about that early on, using the Indiana State Code on unsafe structures. It's such a big, long.
You said we were gonna have a hard time convincing a judge to say that a broken window is the only.
Yeah, and it's too much trouble and expense for this problem, because I think this is gonna solve it.
Resolve itself,
What's that?
resolve itself.
Yeah, I think so, because he's gonna stop paying taxes and then it gets sold, somebody's gonna buy it, it's got value, it's no question, because if you spend money to take it out, you got a flat lock, you can sell for whatever, 75, you know. So. If they don't pay their taxes, that's our easy button, if they pay their taxes, then we're still gonna have to. Go to court to foreclose our lien, like you foreclose a mortgage, the same kind of process. And then it goes to sheriff's sale
it's about $5,000, I think.
in arrears from May. And last November,
Yeah,
so they're gonna be up on, they'll be the list at the end of this year, Georgia.
Yeah.
Is that how that works? Three lights and you're on the list, I think. Or three not paid, yeah,
We're not far off then.
no, we're not far. Because they're due again in November.
Can we,
Okay.
can we move on?
I
I mean, are we done with this topic right now?
am
Okay,
sidewalks, what should we talk about there? I think we covered this a little bit, we got a lot of power there.
I think BJ, if you would citate all the properties on Main Street, from the school down to the telephone company and say that they're in violation. Document it, give Georgia, the timestamp on it, so we can start the 10 days. And we can start making some resolution on that.
And just to confirm, so per our ordinance, everyone has to receive a warning before they're able to be cited, and that applies to an ordinance, even if it involves a safety issue.
Well, I think it's good policy, I mean.
I agree, we always give.
It's not, you can't, it's hard to claim an emergency.
Yeah.
It's a sidewalk, it's not like a car halfway in the street.
No, sir.
And so, the only reason that I believe that you shouldn't is that you got an emergency, you gotta do this, well, it's a deteriorated
Yeah,
sidewalk.
not an emergency, but.
Yeah.
Hazard.
Yeah, I think citizens ought to get it, I'll be optimistic and say half of them are gonna address it. Maybe a third,
It's optimistic.
some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a little bit of a side issue here on this. I mean, we're asking town residents to keep up our property. But is the town doing the same thing? And I know there's mowing issues down at 107 Jewett Street. And I know the waste treatment plant has is extremely unkempt, and I think that. But that's a water conservancy. And you know, how can the people are gonna come back to us and say, you're asking me to do this and you're not doing this? So counselors, how do you want to handle this?
Assessment. Like clean your own house first.
That's right.
So, Ron, I guess you being the president of the director of the Water Conservancy, I guess, are you on note? Is the Water Conservancy on notice as being a property owner? And I'm talking about where all the pine trees were and how unsightly and weeded that is. So, I mean, people don't, well, they're a property owner, you know? You pass that on to Water Conservancy. Any
I
other-
think that's super on.
Yes,
It also needs to be taken into consideration where the property lays, because 107 North Railroad is in a housing area. But the waste treatment plant is kind of like the properties out on 43, the undeveloped commercial. We don't cite them for having weeds that go to seed. So the waste treatment plant kind of looks unsightly, but I don't think that it's actionable for a warning or
councilors, how you want to handle it?
it's in a park. It's right across the road from a,
It's kind of old standard though, I mean, if
Yeah.
you want things to be decent here, it's kind of standard, you should probably hold across the board, if we're asking somebody else to have a standard, we should ask that of them as well. And
I mean, it's a highly visible site and people go by it and they look at it and it's like. You know,
so they ought to put a sign out that says under construction or something, because I mean, there's it's a project that's half done.
so are you advocating to not include them?
Well, I'm just saying that it's an exception that might be considered, because you're making exceptions for the properties that are in town limits that are out on 43. You're not demanding that they be mowed to 6 inches.
Well,
We know that that area that you're looking at along Prophet's Rock, it's unsightly for sure. It's also not in the shape to be mowed, because there's still stumps from a clearing project. So 107 North Railroad, yes, we should have that one looking like everybody else. I call time out on the waste treatment plant because of its location.
I say, if you're talking about the RV site with high grass there, cite them also.
That's not the one, it's the ones that are actually in the town limits.
Oh, that's right, they're not in the town limits. Were you gonna say something, Chad?
would that be, or like, Quick Trip and all that's one, is that what we're talking about, that area? I think know that several times a year.
I don't know.
Are we still laying pipe in that area too? Weren't we bringing some pipe through that area?
Down there, nope, it's topsoil,
Okay,
and we weren't over in that area on that side. We were to the north.
Okay, so include or exclude the waste treatment plant area. Well, then I'm gonna let it stand, cite them, you know. Include them. Okay, next topic.
Last one, amendments, I'm not sure. Georgia, what do we got as far as amendments on the bond ordinance?
The bond ordinance that was produced for you. And I don't know if it was your financial consultant and the bond attorney that worked on that, but it only mentioned rates. When you read the front page, they're only pledging rates for the bond, and that was never the plan. The plan was always TIF and other development revenue and rates if needed. So they took that back. The bond attorney, I called him up, I said, is this a problem? Because it doesn't mention any of the rest of it. He said, yes, it really is. It should be worded differently. So the fact that you passed it, I don't think changes, but the wording on that front page needed to, and the advertising needed
On
to.
the headline, the title at the very top.
You know what? I don't know.
Well, he needs to clean it up and he,
Yeah, he did. And I think I forgot to send.
you know, I don't think, yeah, I didn't know.
So he did change that. I haven't advertised it yet,
But you would like the council to amend it
but to.
by adding the additional language that the bond council put in it. And that had to do with revenues and.
Revenues
Yeah,
pledged.
that's
Yes,
the,
it's expanded. It's not just rates, and that was all the language that was in there was rate.
do they have copies of that?
I didn't make new copies of it.
What's time frame on that?
I doubt if it's in a big hurry because we don't have,
Right, well, we got a bigger fish to fry.
yeah,
I would suggest you just, if you don't mind, Mr.
Bring
President,
it
just put it
back.
on next agenda and if they could, did he send you a red line showing the changes?
I'll have to find that.
He
and
should,
Give it to
and then
you. so
the
that you can-
council will be able to look through it. Because it's a pretty big document, look through the changes.
Yeah.
Know that you've already passed it once and now just change it. So no hurry on that. I'm at the end of my list.
And then, well, the, one thing was this, I'm not sure if you looked at Burn or if you looked at me, Auburn. For an ordinance to specify
yeah.
what can be paid out of promotions fund, because you had a promotions fund, but there was never an ordinance that said what you could spend it.
What's been the history as far as stuff? That's been paid for.
Website, newsletter,
Fiddler's Gathering.
yes,
contributions,
probably, yes.
Probably, other. Public events, decorations for holidays.
Well, yeah, we've only had to buy those a couple times, so yes.
So, the point you raised, is a good one, and that is that if we want to spend, general fund money on promoting the city, very common, people do it all the time, they give away pens, I mean, you think of all the stuff that goes on that different cities and towns do. Then it would make sense to kind of get a laundry list. This has a laundry list, not that you should just follow their laundry list, that's not the point.
Yeah, BJ's
But,
probably the one that's gonna.
Rental of a meeting place. Well, you know, if you're gonna have a community event, you wanna be able to rent a meeting place for it, probably. I mean, I'm just kind of looking through it. You can see how some of these things, memorabilia awards. Meals, awards, gifts, mementos for employees. You give a Christmas bonus, which is sort of different.
It's
That's a
wages.
salary. That's a wage thing. So I think my suggestion would be just kind of use this as a laundry list. And strike out the things you think, I don't think that's a good idea. You know, because most of it's gonna be pretty appropriate for most folks, but there may be a few things in there that you just think, no, that's not what we ought to be spending town money on. You were gonna do T-shirts, you know, for school kids or I'm just, you know, whatever, with that written on. What kind of things you think you might want. And if you wouldn't mind. If you wouldn't mind just looking at that, because I think that's a pretty good list, don't you? Seems pretty comprehensive, the one from, what did you say, Burn, Indiana, yes? And, not
Yeah,
a big,
Auburn's was like 5 pages, it was huge.
that was too much,
But this one I thought
this was a more reasonable list. Because I'm happy to put that together, actually, you may not even want my help on that one, Georgie, you let me know. But I think if you folks kind of give it an idea by crossing some out, and we'll take what's left and toss it into an ordinance and get it to you next meeting. And so you could probably, Georgie, if you don't mind just getting those from everybody and then letting me know, do you want my help on it?
Okay,
Okay. Anything else, sir?
Couple things. A couple meetings ago, we passed an okay for, is it MGM, the hotel people, put up nine-story buildings. Counselors, I don't think we considered it, nine stories out there where the old hotel used to be. Do we want that? So the question for you is, can we rescind that?
Well, it depends on how far down the road they are, but in general, you know, you folks can change your minds as long as they don't have a vested interest in what's going on. And if you've told them something and they've expended funds on it, then we got a
Back
problem.
to Coop, right?
Yeah, so you have control until it's gonna cost them substantial sums and then. Yeah, that's a problem.
So
Was it 9 stories? It was was that the tallest and then didn't it step down or something?
Yeah,
Towards the
so
front?
the reason for the 9 stories is because they didn't vote on that. Was because they subdivided that lot. It was all one piece. They sectioned it off so they can build in sections. Had it all been one lot, 9 stories would be totally legal and we wouldn't have a say.
how do you feel about 9 stories out there? How do we feel about it?
I'm okay.
I'm,
We got fire protection for it. I mean, they'll reach 9 stories, ladder truck will, won't it?
Well, I was just gonna say it had to be okayed by the fire department already, right?
In state building.
Yeah,
Well, it was, yeah, I don't know if it was.
It's sprinkled, it has to be.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
on state.
If
State
it's
building.
sprinkled, I don't think the fire department ever said yes or no. I think it was
And I
just,
don't think the fire department has that, because I think it's state, your state fire marshal.
I mean, I'm fine with that. I think this is a big thing that coming to the Valley Run area. We don't want to push it away.
Maybe the only thing you see driving by on the interstate.
So,
It'll be it.
Just thought I'd raise that question. I don't know how to feel about a big building like that. Okay,
Anything else, sir?
one other thing, setting up the GoFundMe, fund to support different aspects of the town. Is that any restrictions, any whatever?
No, how do they charge for that?
I
We don't
don't know.
They scrape a bit off everyone or is it?
I think it's give her a bit off the every donation.
Yeah, it's donations.
But so it's coming off the donation, they
Yeah.
take 0.5% or whatever.
You're
they
right. I
pay.
think it's fee or some kind of.
Right, like for every,
Fee.
Yeah.
if you donate $5, they get 5 cents.
No, because if you're the donor, you see that coming into the portal and say, oh, it's gonna cost me, $3 to
It's in the
get,
fine print when you
give 100. or
contribute to GoFundMe. Yeah, a certain portion of that goes to GoFundMe itself.
Okay,
Yeah, as long as we're just getting the net, that's okay. People wanna do that. no problem.
okay. Anything else for Eric Burns?
I got one question.
Yes, sir.
It's probably for here, but he probably needs to hear this. Locates for battleground. Don't we utilize Dan? Do locates for you, for sewer? Or do you do all the sewer locates?
If I'm super busy, he has done for the
Okay,
last week or so.
and some before that. So, do we have some kind of an agreement in place between the Conservancy and the town of Battleground? If somebody else is marketing for us, that covers our ass? That's the
If
question.
there's a mistake made, you mean?
Correct.
You're saying that if there
If
is,
Dan locates for our sewer. And say, I hit it. Because it's off by 20 some feet,
Who's on up for that?
and he didn't locate it. But we have used Dan to locate it, who is not a town of Battleground employee.
You're probably fine, but having something in writing.
That's what I'm getting
May
at.
be helpful. Our insurance company. Would say, well, is that person an employee? No. Or is it a contractor? No. Well, what is it? They covered by workers' comp for the town? I don't think so.
So we have an agreement for that.
so
up
what,
till now, the insurance company, the agent that we've had at different times have all said, well, because you're covered by the same insurance company, it's probably not gonna be a problem, but yeah, at the point, if it's
Sure.
had to have an agreement, but at the point where one of them departs and has a competitor
Yeah.
agent, then yes, we would have to.
Insurance companies are making a lot more denials these days than they ever did. Do you ever do it for that? For water?
Be honest.
I have a couple.
Yeah, you know, if all you did was exchange emails that said, hey, I'm gonna do it for you, you're gonna do it for me, went on call, thanks so much, see you later. You're probably fine, because then it's clear that you assigned them to do that when necessary, and they've done the same for you. It doesn't need council approval, it's just documenting that you're working for the other organization. You're a volunteer for the other organization, so I think that would cover the fun. Workers' comp, you're already, both sides are already covered. Back to the point the insurance agents are made. As long as somebody is covering it, they're gonna cover whether they were driving to work, whether they were doing whatever, they're gonna cover that. That's one area that denies.
Reason asking that, I'm sure there's some kind of agreement because USIC is contracted from various utilities to take responsibility for that. What I'm saying is they are a locate company on this, I should know that, yeah. Well, there is an agreement with whoever the utility is that, hey, if they miss mark, it's on them. Good point. It's not on said utility. But if we're intermingling resources and we don't have an agreement, somebody, not us, comes out and rips through something, that contractor is gonna want some kind of compensation from somebody.
Well, in that scenario that we just talked about, Dan, is it?
Yes.
Dan makes a mistake on our behalf, that's us. That isn't Dan. Which is kind of fair, quite frankly.
It is, but we're relying on.
And vice versa.
to take care of stuff.
Well, then also the difference in my understanding is that the UIC locates are by wires on the pipes, and we have none of that.
That is
And we don't have math
semi-true,
that show where the
accurate.
pipes are with accuracy. So if you're
More
depending on a
likely to
map
have-
that was turned in prior to when the pipe was actually buried, and it isn't buried where the map said it is, it's just.
No, you got a higher probability of error there. Why? Why do you laugh at?
So we need to have an agreement with Dan or the Water
I
Conservancy?
think if you just exchange that we're doing it for you, you're doing it for me, it just clarifies that he wasn't out there doing it on a flyer on his own. And vice versa. I don't think you need anything more than that. Because again, if he's working for us, it's our liability that's gonna cover it. And that's why you document that he's gonna sometimes work for us. And you're gonna sometimes work for his outfit.
There's mud. Thank you.
Sure.
Anything else?
Turn it up good for you then?
Anything else for Mr. Burns?
See y'all. Take it easy.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to the minutes. Everybody's read the minutes and ready to make an approval or disapproval or edits.
Here.
Would you comment on the fact that what they see in front of them is different from what was distributed?
There were some suggestions submitted before it went to press or after it went to press. So, and I don't have a copy of what those edits are. So if, as I recall, they basically dealt with comments that the marshal made about.
Send that to you, Joe.
I'm sorry.
Mary Jo, did you get the updated minutes?
I did, yes.
All right.
That's okay.
It just clarified some issues and I okayed it and thought it was appropriate. So, any questions on the minutes?
Mm.
You know what we're waiting on?
My name is misspelled on the third page. I'm still at.
What?
My name is misspelled third.
Good call. Good.
Yes.
Yeah, it's hard to wire.
The typos.
So. Beyond that, though, I don't see anything else that we can change. Paragraph page 3.
Well. How about a motion?
Make a motion.
Go.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve minute with the proposed changes.
I got it. So
Motion by Chat. And second by Matt. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye, thank you, Mary Jo.
Hey, Chad, move your nameplate so Jim can see it.
Okay, clerk treasurer, please.
Jim, is there a reason why we skipped the contract services?
Oh. Thank you. No, oversight on my part, wanting to move ahead in a hurry. But thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to insult, but the BFNS. You're probably thinking, oh, yes.
It's the guy sitting back here in the shorts, so I didn't realize.
Or, It's all yours. I'm sorry.
Let's go ahead and touch on the gateway process for now. That's going through procurement of the contractor right now. We have narrowed it down to 2 prospective developers and have follow-up interviews with them this week to then get the final recommendation of which proposal and which developer we would like to partner with. And then one of the other things that BFNS has been working on has been our final our design contract for the full project. So I apologize, I meant to have that ready tonight, but we need to do a couple more internal checks on everything. There's been some discussion on scope recently, so we want to make sure that our contract is accurately down needs. Anything on that, Dave?
We can have a draft of that to Georgia that you could send to you all, but before the next meeting, if that's where we can step through it. Whatever your pleasure is on that, but it's a big number. So, we'll send along the programming, information that we have back from the, master plan, level study that showed expected budgets. We're still within that, but, it's a big number and we should be ready for that and not be shocked by it, so. Does involve a lot. Be good to have some good discussion and questions at your next meeting for that. A big part of it is easement acquisition. And the number of parcels that all of these phases touch and cross, frankly, it adds up. And that's just the nature of acquiring easements for utilities. We will take it through a process that will protect the town if condemnation becomes necessary, so we won't have to take steps back and reinvent the wheel and spend additional money on folks that we would hope wouldn't need that. So it's a little bit of extra paperwork that we hope we don't need. But that's a decision you all need to make actually, as far as what risk you want to take in trying to acquire the easements for the project. So we go down a slower path, that's one step at a time, that doesn't have any steps backwards. Some can go quickly, some can, like I said, end up in condemnation. We hope that doesn't happen. But given that we're doing a BOT, we'll have more flexibility and collaboration with the contractor during these discussions and during our designs, so that if there's a small change that we can make this meaningful to a property owner, we can do that in real time, much earlier in the process, than have the design drawings done and ready to go, and then acquire easements, and then again, have to take steps back to change an alignment or to move a structure or something that might be meaningful or might not be to a property owner. So we're hopeful that we can streamline that process, but that's a big part of the overall effort. Obviously, the design is, we have sub-consultants for electrical, mechanical design, geotechnical, subsurface utility engineering is a big component of it, and we're going to push hard to ensure we have that in there so that we can do the subsurface investigations during design and find any utilities or verify that they're not there for critical locations in the design. So the contractor's going to want that too. So
Is it shortlisted then? Yeah, shortlisted now.
it's shortlisted to the Chris mentioned, he was mentioned, but yeah.
And all of that goes on independently of the bonding.
That's all underneath our contract.
And you're gonna give us the numbers on that contract in next meeting.
Like I said, we'll plan to have a draft for you to review prior to that meeting, so you've got opportunity to prepare questions.
Thank you.
The other item we've got is the Hawks Nest project. Over the past few weeks, there's been some challenges we've worked through overcoming, seeing progress on that. Matt, I can hand it off whenever you like, but if you like to give a quick.
Wastewater plant's tied in, the force main's tied in at the wastewater plant, we started topsoil in there, structures are stacked out. Wet well is set, I don't know if they finished stacking it out today, backfill operations started on that. As soon as we're backfilled on that, we'll set the valve wall. Waiting on Chris's team to, we had some challenges up there. Back to the locates. Water and the sewer weren't in the area with which they were represented on the drawings, and it took us a considerable amount of time to find those utilities. We had to move the wet well south and north, not a lot, but
A little bit.
a little bit.
We resurveyed elevations of those exposed pipes after Matt's team had potholed those and we got visual confirmation of the location of those pipes. The water main up there was in proximity conflict to the wet well, so the wet well had to be shifted a little bit. It was able to be shifted without issue, but there are 3 pipes that we are crossing. We knew that we were crossing them, but now we actually have elevation data on that. We're crossing them with the gravity sewer that comes off of the pipe that currently feeds into the Hawks Nest lift station. So we need to be able to get elevation and locations confirmed on that to be able to, vet the routing for gravity sewer.
Yeah, and I shot those last week, Thursday.
Thursday.
Or Friday.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah. You guys shot them last week,
So
so.
we just got that brought into our. Should have an answer for you tomorrow.
Cool. Once that's accomplished, while electrical work is being performed, we'll start setting the 2 ARVs that we gotta do and start restoration through the woods, so. I don't think that we're gonna meet in August, it's probably gonna be mid-September. Just due to the fact of some of the other issues that we've experienced, obviously down at the wastewater plant, we had issues with utilities down there. That were not properly located, we had to rearrange, but we had to. Change alignment, the structures down there, both structures. And re-engineer that area down there just due to the fact of utilities not being located properly, so. But we're still tracking, we've got 2 crews out there working right now, so. Want to get this thing put to bed and out of here, so that's where we're at.
So what utilities weren't located properly?
Sewer and water. Sewer and water. It would have been,
And-
I'll be honest, it would have been so much easier. I know we met down there, you were down there with myself and Chris. I know you made the comment that, that would be a spaghetti bowl. It would have been a whole lot easier. If somebody would have just said, we don't know. Right. It would have been easier just to say we don't know. Than to put paint on. We had multiple areas down there at the wastewater plant that we've got video, we've got photo documentation. Lines were painted here one day, a few days later, they were 20 feet in a different location. So it becomes an issue for a contractor. So I think these guys for this next phase, not the next phase, but for the next project, I think they've mitigated that. Hopefully there's money in there for that, so. It's a unfortunate challenge and it costs people money, and it sucks. Just to be honest, so if you don't know, just say you don't know. I mean, most of these contractors, we've got back trucks and stuff, we'll go out there and we'll find the stuff, but somebody's going to pay the bill for it. For that standpoint, so, it is what it is at this point.
And so is there gonna be a security fence around the new lift station? And when will the electricity be done?
I'll shoot you, and give you a better idea. Yeah,
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions regarding Hawks Nest?
Restoration through the woods, I know that there was, let's address that. Email from Greg, there is no culverts that were figured in, put in ravines or anything down through there. It'll be cleaned up, it'll be seeded. The brush will be along the edges of you'll still be able to access through there. There's plenty of room to access, but the brush and stuff will be on the edges of our, isn't it? It was never figured to be chipped.
And so one of the goals is to be able to navigate the whole easement with a mower to maintain it. So if we need culverts, should we talk with Greg Marks about this?
Probably would hurt, yeah. Probably would hurt. I don't know how. I don't know. That's tough when just throw culvert in some of those areas, I'd say. You gotta know the flows are, I mean, kind of if there's, it's drainage.
It could become one quickly, yes.
Yeah.
Could become one.
A challenge to know what size of culvert and installing it correctly. If it starts to become much of a drainage area, it could be more than just, a simple pipe that wouldn't wash away. It's too big of a ravine. I haven't put my eyes on it. So
There's some,
There's some significant ravines back there, and the intent was to restore the grade to previous elevation.
what it was.
So as not to interrupt drainage patterns. The culvert is a restriction in a drainage path, unless we size it properly, and sizing it properly in an area like that is,
It's doable.
it's doable certainly, but there are challenges.
It's doable, but it's challenge. Challenge.
The risk being you create ponding and flooding where none. I'm not saying that none exists there now, but none has been done thus far.
If it presents a challenge to maintenance of the easement. I think I think we need to have a greater in-depth discussion.
If you. So when we mowed it, all we did, we used a skid loader we used a skid loader. Mower on, mulching head on to go down through there, so I mean, from that same point, you can do it. As far as driving a truck down through there, all of it. No, ain't gonna happen. No way.
You have an idea of the equipment that we have,
Oh, no, I know.
so
I would hope, personally, I would hope that. For the pipe that was installed there, you shouldn't have to touch the shit for 50+ years.
they're there.
It was,
But
it was made by human.
at least maintaining it to the point we don't get large trees over the top of it.
Correct, correct. If you take the mower, if you mow that regularly, I'd say once a year or every couple of years. I mean, it's no different than doing the highlights for the gas.
I got that,
Standpoint.
but
I mean, that's-
I've seen all of those ravines and
Yeah.
you're not gonna get the Dixie chopper down through there.
No,
Easily.
you'd have to contract somebody out. Yeah, you'd have to contract somebody. Yeah, you'd have to contract somebody out. There's a couple of companies around that do that. That's all they do. So. It's feasible.
Okay,
I have a question if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
You said something about restoring the grade, so the drainage issue, we don't have any drainage issues. Where there was drainage to the pond, there is not
Ruts.
drainage.
No, that's what I'm saying. When we grade through there, we'll clean all that up. Thanks. We've got to go back through there again.
Yeah, cause it's a mess.
Yeah, no, I know this. I'm fully aware. Yeah, it'll be cleaned up. It'll be cleaned up. Right there through the pond, we have a area leaf valve that's got to go in, once you get across to the east of the property. We went through one of the swales there, it's up in that corner, so we're gonna be running right across the pond area right now, so once we can do that and we get that finished up, it'll be all
We
right.
just went through one.
Yeah, it'll go away. It'll go away.
Thanks.
Anyway, what else you got?
That's it. That was it. And you said mid-end September.
Probably so.
I mean, it's hard to put a date on it, but
That part might go a little quicker, we might just be at the lift station by then, but.
yeah. You can appreciate the fact that we're anxious to get it done.
No more than we are.
The entire time we've lived there, it's been an ongoing project, so we're looking forward to be done.
I'm assuming that we got kind of held up from other outside extenuating
Yeah.
circumstances that were not.
Thanks.
any other questions regarding Hawks Nest from Chris or Matt? Okay, Georgia. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you guys. Good morning.
Always have the claims. What is that for your considerations? There's a few more on this summary than there was in the full report that you got as part of your packet last week. We had a few checks written first of August. And then August 1 payroll that wasn't on the one last week, so it's a little higher than it was when you look at it.
I'll make a motion to approve account payable from July 15th through August 11th. Total of $313,479.25.
I say,
Motion by Chad, Poe, second by Matt and Steve. However you want to allocate that to the ball. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I,
Thank you, Mary Jo.
Fine first. You can post it over that.
About that.
The utility, rate review for sewage is a concern. The committee, Mary Jo and Steve met to talk about that a little bit. We have some more information now in front of us if we're gonna have to enact any kind of commercial fees for Woods Edge, I guess. But that seems to be a few days or weeks away from having to be a real thing, so I'll hope that the attorneys can work that out and we don't have to go that direction. The one thing, conservancy, will the conservancy talk about rate options, the meeting that I was not present. I'm sorry, my memory is fuzzy. If anyone from this group was involved with discussion about having a, instead of a minimum bill that has 2,000 gallons in it, you were talking about having a flat fee set to cover overhead and then total gallons of water used added to that. And at the point where we have to get our rate review going, our rate study going for SRF, they're gonna want to know how we're gonna generate enough money to pay for the bond. And rates are part of it, and we're at the end of a rate ordinance, so we need to do a review. If there's anything on how rates are established, this is the only time you have really to make that change. So we need to keep thinking about it. It doesn't have to be done tonight, but you need to keep thinking about it and looking. Come talk to me if you have concerns, because I need to communicate with someone to do that review for us. And it has to be somebody with credentials like Steve Brock. It doesn't have to be him just because he's doing your financial consulting on the bond. He doesn't have to be the one to do the rate review. But it has to be somebody with credentials in municipal financial consulting to do that for you for SRF. And it's gonna be $8,000 to $10,000. So I was kind of thinking maybe it made sense for whoever I talked to do conservancy and town together, because it's one utility. My concern is to not have two lanes where we're putting increases on people's bills at the same time for water. I'd like to have them thought out a little bit so that if we're doing increases, it's staged so that one increases and then a few months later, the other one increases and they go up in little steps when possible. I think Dan said there were so many months between increases that you had to wait. You can't. I don't know. I haven't looked up the statute on that. I was just kind of going on his knowledge, and but they change them periodically, so I want to make sure that's still true. But if you have any, that's kind of my thinking. If anyone has a aversion to that, let me know at this point. And then if you have any strong feelings about how our rates are structured, what you'd like to see, put it in an email or bring it to the next meeting. We did with Eric, the third thing on my list was setting up an ordinance so that you could use your promotions fund for specific things that you thought might be coming up. And then really the only thing I spent it on is, as Eric was recalling, the Christmas decorations and newsletters from time to time. And we haven't done a newsletter for a while. And I kept thinking with Woods Edge and the Gateway project. I mean, there's things on the table that could be good to tell the community about, so. Encourage you to think about putting together a newsletter. And did I mention to you all about Ashley Garrett starting in the office?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, she works Thursdays and Fridays, you would see her.
Who is this?
Ashley Garrett.
Ashley, yeah, met her.
The HR committee met, do you want to report on that, Steve, or just wait till they get their budget documents?
We need to wait till we get our budget, so we can.
And that's all I have. Unless there's any questions.
Questions for Georgia? Mary Jo, questions?
No, thank you.
Questions from the gallery? Too late, thank you. Gotta be fast. BJ?
Yeah.
Am I right? Linda, am I right on the agenda?
Yeah.
Oh.
You guys got it. Thank you.
So that there's quite a bit of commotion that people probably noticed last night and this morning. There was a missing child that was fortunately recovered this morning, went missing last night. I have never seen so many first responders in my life in this area. I think the furthest was Elkhart, but one of our officers worked last night. The rest of us arrived this morning to help, and there were so many police cars that looked like somebody dropped a donut outside. So but fortunately, he was covered. So we've taken advantage of school zone being out this month to get some training in. So two of our officers went to ARI training, which is Advanced Roadside Impairment Detection and Enforcement. It's like advanced DUI training that was in French Lick. It's a 2-day course, so it was really nice to get that in for them. With school zones starting back up, well, I had one resident that was pretty concerned about cars blocking the lane on Liberty Street. There's no parking on that street. Technically, they're stopping if they're not parking, but we will. It's a certain amount of time that it takes to get cars through in that area. We tend to be easy on that. However, if they are truly blocking a lane, starting tomorrow, we'll be watching. If they're blocking a lane, then we don't want residents having to take detours because they can't get a car through. So that's sort of where we draw that line. If anybody's listening for that. We had a pretty generous gift that we can discuss at a future meeting from West Lafayette PD for some office furniture for the new building. So we've been movers for about a week this month. We had a pretty good school event actually a few days back. Friday. Yeah, thank you. My days run together. The only item I really have for the board is I was trying to figure out why we're not getting as much done as I'd like to get done. And I made a list of all the things that we were spread out trying to task ourselves with every week. And what would be really nice is if we had some help where we have investigations. And that's an area where if you get into something when you're on patrol, now you're taken away from the road, doing traffic stops and those kind of things because you're working on the investigation. One of the officers that I mentioned, who was at a previous meeting, the detective, would be able to pick up some hours for us, helping out with that. I don't feel fair that it's comfortable to ask him to do it for free. So I'd like to have him work paid part-time hours as a detective when we need him. So it's an as needed basis. This is not somebody that would be patrolling, but somebody that would have some extra help to do a lot of the kind of lengthy follow-up and phone calls, interviews, things like that, that would free up Chief Deputy Townsend now and myself as well. So that's really all I have. I don't know if that needs to be created its own position or if that can occupy one of the part-time spots. But that's would not be a patrol officer. We don't need to buy equipment or anything like that. We just need to be able to compensate.
And
And that's
that's an additional item for your budget.
It would come out of my budget. No, it would not be an additional item. It might be a title change to the salary ordinance for one. That's why I'm thinking it would be better to, since it's an as needed, to add that position rather than take up one of our actual part-time spots, because I'm gonna need all those. Part of my work right now is figuring out how to do recruitment for, just being honest, we don't pay as much as anybody else does, and so it's, I'm trying to find incentives to, through freedom of when to work, you know, the pleasant work environment out here, that whatever I can do to swindle officers.
And so are you just are you just informing us of what your
No,
desires
I
are?
personally think it would be better to actually add that position, but.
This is an admin.
Yeah,
essentially.
kind of, yeah, but it's. Yeah, well, more than just admin, it would be a sworn, I don't want anybody to deal with a case that's not sworn, so. This would be just sworn detective position. Since Fred has now vacated that and has gone to chief deputy.
So, go ahead, councilors,
Comment,
comment.
if you go back and look at the salary ordinance, it doesn't say what kind of idle the deputies have, it just has 4 slots for deputies.
And that's fine, yeah. If we
So
don't-
if you're going to delineate specific titles, we didn't do it yet. I was hoping that the January salary ordinance would be close enough to put the chief deputy position on the salary ordinance, and right now it's he has the responsibilities, but it's still just 1 deputy out of 4. So if you want to do that with these positions and delineate specific responsibilities, then we would need to advertise a new salary ordinance to do that right now.
Maybe the easier solution would be that if once those positions. Use one of those slots, and then once those positions are taken up. Then we can add another one if we need to, but I just don't want there to be any impression that. This is an as needed position, not a for ours, not a going to be out patrolling all the time person, so
We
not a
didn't,
big impact to our
we
budget.
didn't give those positions a name, so
That's easy enough then,
we
yeah,
could, yeah.
yeah, that would actually be easier, so I'm overcomplicating it.
So our existing salary ordinance covers you for right now.
Yeah, so basically retract what I just said on the last 5 minutes, I think. So, yeah, when you work it through like that, it makes a lot of sense, so,
Have we got anybody rolling during the day or
yes, sir.
for this, I mean, for the. I
Somebody
don't
was
see
today, I saw
nobody
somebody
out,
today, somebody was down at 4365.
I don't see anybody
An
out, I
accident.
mean, patrolling during the day.
So let's get into that. So when you have 1 police car on patrol at a time, right, and you're driving around town. We don't patrol by kind of doing like a leapfrog where we stop at a block and then we go to the next block and then we stop for a while. And so the chances of seeing someone are challenging. I mean, I often question that when I need backup, where they at, right? But it's, but I can. Welcome to ride with us. I've lost, couple meetings we had to keep
That's
up.
fine, but. You got people up here running this 5-way stop, you got speeders on Main Street. And even on Sherman Street, they want to speed. You got them up here at night by the battlefield speeding.
I agree.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, nobody wants to set like, once you stop 5 or 6 of them, they're gonna get the message not to speed.
Unfortunately, they don't. That's the problem. And so because we have 1 car on at a time, and a couple meetings ago, I provided all of you with a heat map that showed where our traffic stops are happening. It was all those places you had just addressed. And when you have 1 vehicle, sometimes what happens is they see you enforcing it at an area, and then they see you leave, and then it's free game from there. Another reason why it might not appear that we're at the 5-way stop is when you're monitoring stop signs and a car goes through it, you follow that vehicle and it gets to a safe area. They often turn off on the side road. You turn your lights on. Former Councilor Jones is probably really annoyed with us, always shining up his house. You're not gonna pull that car over at the place where the violation occurred, and so it may look like we're enforcing things in other areas when actually the violation happened at the spot that we were intending or that you might be referring to.
I'm just saying, I mean, I go in town hall all day back and forth and I don't see no marshal running the town. Matter of fact, I mean, no disrespect, to Fred, but I see more going in town than I do out here. I see him on 9th Street. I see him on 43 going out. That's what I'm saying.
We patrol
We
43
need,
as well, that's under town.
you know, we need somebody protection in town. I mean,
I don't know what I can do better than just give you the numbers.
you know, I mean, I don't wanna, you know, no disrespect. I mean, you know, we need protection out here for speeders and it's got 5-way stop.
And again, I-
Starting.
Yeah, and again, I don't know how to show that better than the illustration of here's where we're stopping those cars and all those places. Had those traffic stops, so I can give you the numbers. I can't always have a traffic stop happening where you want it at whatever given time, but I can tell you that they're happening, so.
Yeah, that's like when Fred first started, he was down here on Prophet's Rock. I seen him, you know, stop 3-4 cars on Prophet's Rock down there. I
So-
mean, that's great.
So I'd hope you wouldn't spend too much time over there because we have other places that have speeders as well. So we
Okay.
like to divide it up.
Steve, I can hear what you're saying, but it all comes down to money. And for us to have more patrol officers out, we're gonna have to increase his budget so he can keep them higher, you know, so that's my take on it.
No, that's.
Well, I know that
Well,
he's BJ's doing the best for what he's got. So if we want him to do better, we need to give him more
Hey,
money.
if you're driving home. Traffic stop,
Good.
call them up.
Yeah.
Anything else, Pete?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes, Georgia.
We had a conversation a month ago about back pay for Officer Townsend. Are you gonna run that?
Yeah, I believe you were correct in that, in not the most recent one, but that first. The initial one, I believe I did that. I'll confirm that with you though.
Well, the reason I bring it up is because all I had was to go on the 270. You gave a different number for what you wanted his wage to be, which was different, and you wanted the back pay, and I don't feel comfortable doing that with a year in between at a different rate, and this is the first time it's come up. I wanted the council to say, to run it through the minutes to say that that was approved because it's such a long time.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
wanna do that, yeah, that's fine. Unfortunately, I don't know the specifics in my head right now, so, but if
Well,
you're aware of it, then.
we'll bring it up at the next meeting, but it does, in order to do back pay into a year that's already been closed, the books are closed, I would really like to have it be in the minutes.
That's fair.
They considered it and it's okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
Is that it?
That's all I have. Unfortunately, something's come up, or say I need to attend to at home. I do need to leave. I apologize, I've got to deal with something.
The chicken got out?
The chickens did not get out, no. But that
Okay,
makes sense.
well, okay, have fun. Very soon.
Was there anything else?
No, but there might be some things come up later that.
Somebody said there's a rooster in town, but we haven't looked.
There's a rooster in town?
So, yeah, I had a complaint that there was a rooster keeping her up in the morning. So, but we haven't
Where-
located it
where-
yet. We don't know who
What
it's.
area? Is it-
Jewett Street, the west to Jewett, that circle in there.
Well,
But
okay,
we have,
we'll have to listen.
we don't know who to send you to, who we look.
Yeah, that's all right, we should be able to hear a rooster, so I'll stay for you. Now you got my curiosity.
Are we done with DJ? Mary Jo, you got a question?
No,
Okay.
I'm just
Ron?
laughing about the rooster.
Yeah. I've heard that rooster.
The biggest thing I have is, today, with multiple people, we were able to do repair on Hawk's Nest. So now we have both pumps running.
Yay.
We ended up cutting the down pipe and putting another piece in,
Ooh,
it fired right up.
Good.
Once we got it repaired. We started at 8. And we were able to finish it at 12:30. 12:45.
wow.
So,
Congratulations.
a little bit of work, but we got through it and we did have 2 back trucks. Because they were. The flow is just, it just pours in. Off them. I mean, we were filling the truck about every 45 minutes, 35 minutes.
Interesting.
It's about right.
We did have two fairly expensive motor repairs. The Dixie took a battery, $70 range. It did take a starter. The starter went out. I believe the starter was 270-ish. The Kubota had one of the bearings go out. We got all that and 500, I think. But so we did there for a week. We did get behind on mowing, but as soon as they were both fixed, we got everything caught back up. The next thing I have is I talked to Georgia and she said that I needed to talk to the council. Last Friday, I did take the day off. Unfortunately for another funeral, my wife's brother passed. And she said that quote unquote isn't 100% in the ordinance. Cause it's brother, sister, mother, father, child. I did take one day. If I could get that, great. If not, that's fine too.
Compensation for your day off.
I agree.
1 day agreement for another month, yeah, that's fine.
Any objections, councilors?
Steve, I heard Steve make you moved to approve that, didn't you? Yeah.
Second.
Second by Chad.
Thank you, Georgia. Mary Jo,
I agree.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. There you go. That it?
That's all I have.
Oh, yeah, question.
Part-time employee for you. Did you have a question?
I do.
Go for it.
What are we doing to prevent, I know that we have replaced the main lift station because it has the downpipes as well too. I talked to you about this the other day. What are we doing? We have one more, don't we? Correct? Out of,
River blows too.
yep, have we inspected those pipe? Because those rust holes did not form that pipe overnight.
Correct.
So if we're cleaning it twice a year, how do we not figure that out earlier? Because it didn't happen overnight. Just asking questions. It's me.
Okay, all the effectiveness was on the backside.
Yeah.
And he actually did not find it. He couldn't see it on when he got in today. He could not see it on the outside.
Mhm.
He went ahead and cut the pipe where he thought,
Mhm.
and he was able to reach in,
Mhm.
and then he put an epoxy on the outside and then banded it.
So would it have been all the way through though, if it wasn't creating suction? That's, I guess I'm confused with that. That's, I'm just asking a question.
Yeah, but you couldn't see it
I got you.
because it was on the backside of the pipe.
So I guess I'm gonna go back to how are we inspecting that? So if we can't see that stuff, what are we doing in that? I mean, this is not the place for that, but we need to make sure that
Right.
that's you guys. And then I guess the next question is, did we ever get a retrieval system that we were talking about a long time ago? When you guys get in and out of manholes and the blower?
Yeah, you borrowed it once.
Yeah. Oh, I did, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, then we bought one.
The next thing that we need
Yeah,
is
Joe blower.
the blower.
Okay.
We do need that.
$300 or $400 item. If they're getting the manhole, they need it.
Yeah,
Cheap.
Not they're dead, so
yeah, but yes, we did purchase the retrieval.
that's right.
One thing
Yeah,
that you need to get for the retrieval.
Yeah.
Is we have a harness for me, you need a harness for him.
Those are cheap items they need to do.
Right, so a harness for him and the
Yeah.
fan.
Do we have a monitor, gas monitor? No,
Fast answer, yes, we have one.
okay,
Uh,
correct answer,
the correct answer is it's out of date.
Okay.
They have to be sent off once a year.
yep, that's correct.
Who has it?
Hmm?
Who has it now?
It's in the box down, certified.
Oh, okay, so it hasn't been sent yet,
No,
okay.
Are we done, Ron? Sorry. Mary Jo, you got any questions?
I do not. Thanks, Ron.
I'm gonna, oh. We need to talk about part-time help for Ron, but I'm gonna table that for just right now. I'm gonna jump ahead just a little bit because I know BJ's got an issue that he needs to.
I can wait, it's.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
just a little bit of water.
then. Ron could use some part-time help. You know, it's your call how you want to do it. I mean, he's busy. I suggested to Mary Jo and Steve to maybe help out a little bit, but we need a job description. So we need to do some pre-screening so that, you know, get 3 or 4 people and let them review them, or however you want to do it, you know, so.
I made the suggestion, I mean, I had a conversation with the development plan, 2 or 3 weeks ago. I mean, you know, we talked about 10-liners and all that stuff. I mean, he stretched thin, in my opinion, 100%. I know what you're saying with the even part-time. I mean, there's stuff that, I mean, I do a rock every few mornings through this Shawnee Ridge, okay? Just while going through Shawnee Ridge, there's stuff out there that we need to be taking care of. I sent you pictures of that curb inlet that's ruptured and got problems. I mean, there's stuff that I'm sure if he drove around town that we're not taking care of because he's stretched in. Hence the question asking, you mowing somebody else, I mean, a blighted property's yard, we're taking him away from services that we should be paying for, you know, that we're paying him to take care of, right? There's not enough hours in the day. So we definitely need to look at that. And I don't even know if it's just part-time, it might need to be a full-time person, which again, it takes money.
Well, we agree with.
Yeah, it takes money, so we just gotta figure it out. And it might not just be a $15 an hour person, unfortunately, but
If it's the storm system, is that what I'm hearing?
it is.
Yes.
You could contract with somebody for that and get those done because you haven't spent any stormwater money since Tomahawk.
Is that all stormwater though? I mean, it's the curbs buckled and inlets.
They're buckled because of the storm.
Yeah, I agree completely. Okay,
So, yeah,
yes.
you could put it all.
Okay,
And we have, to be real honest with you, Matt, there's
probably.
2, maybe
Multiple.
3 in Hawks Nest.
I don't go through Hawks Nest typically. I started walking through there, but yeah.
There's one in my neighborhood
Yeah.
too.
So the bottom line is that Ron can, he needs more labor.
Mhm.
So
100%.
however we want to approach it,
That
you know?
specific one, I don't know if hiring a part-time helper would actually do that, because that would require your expertise and somebody.
I need somebody, you have to have somebody, not saying to do the work, but some of this other labor, you need to manage some of this stuff. I mean, that's the bottom
And
line.
it's-
You're stretched too thin.
And so if you guys mowing, like, let's hire a
I
part-time
would
guy.
say if there's anybody that we can get to outsource that part of it, we could get a lot done.
So that'd take a lot of skill, but, well, maybe it does, but
Could you make them a wish list of what you want that person to do?
Sure.
Then we can make a job.
Good, yeah, absolutely. Good idea.
Well, if we give a part-time, we're gonna have to make sure he knows how to plow. help
Right,
him
and that's
out.
what we-
Yeah,
Get a wish list
Yeah,
of skills
just
and
get it, yeah.
work
Get a list
jobs
of
to be
stuff,
done.
tasks that you think you can do that subsidize
then
what
we'll
you're
just have
doing
to
that's
narrow
taking
what
you
the
away
wage is
from
for
what
that
you need to
person.
be doing.
Is this $10 an hour work? Is this $15 an hour work? Is it legal? What kind
Yeah.
of, what kind of money is it looking at?
And as for the future on my part, if I do end up getting certified, going through the NEDS permit. There's just a lot of testing on an operator for wastewater. And then also learning.
You're gonna be taken away from, once you get your search, you're gonna be taken away from what you're doing for him right now. So I mean, we're.
What we need is worker, right? We don't need someone that,
paying for himself.
someone
No,
that
yeah,
picks
I
up,
agree
things down.
with that, yeah, I don't disagree with that. It's just, yeah.
so.
I'm stretched too thin.
Is your next wage increase October, is it every 6 months?
Yeah.
It was April, right?
So I'm gonna meet through the alliance, which I did.
It wasn't the other one, April 1st. Yeah, it was for those 6 months, we do get another increase in October.
So, Ron, you need to give us a job description of some sort, and, I don't know, between Mary Jo and Chad, and I don't know how you want to approach this. You know,
I mean, if we could narrow it down to 1 to 3 people.
Yeah.
And then
We could interview him.
I could step in real quick and.
say yeah and yeah, whatever. Okay.
Yep.
Mary Jo, were you gonna say something?
Nope, just agreeing with you.
I'd make a suggestion on that interview process. You need to do a lot of that. I mean, if they don't mesh with you, there's no point in hiring.
Right, that's what.
Yeah, I think you need to see the team.
100%.
I mean, if there's 10 people that put in, time restraint, I'd rather not do that. If I could get some help from the council to get it down to,
Just get it narrowed down. That's what we do. We go through, we narrow people down. We bring them in, we put them with that, whatever that crew is. And if they don't mesh with that crew, we don't hire them. If they mesh with the crew, we hire them.
The job description by the end of the week, okay?
yes,
To give it to Chad or Steve or Mary Jo or, well, Mary Jo's on
I'll give it
vacation.
to George and Michigan.
Very good, thanks. Okay. Any questions? Moving on, Chad. Air plan, any report? That was for us, no, that was fast, great. Old business, we've talked about new town hall for 10 years, we haven't done anything. I'm gonna advocate that we look at renovating this existing building, okay? And these are just beautiful, beautiful pictures, beautiful rendition, okay? And it's just a suggestion, it's just an idea to get your juices thinking about it, whatever. But we've got estimates on leveling the floor. They have two estimates. They come in about $35,000, more or less. There's drainage issues. This building is sitting in a bowl. Water comes around. The downspouts are bad. It's just neglected. Okay. My idea is kick out this wall, kick the police department out, get them into their building down there. That's it in a nutshell, but it entails, if we're kicking BJ out of here, we're gonna need to spend some money down there for him. So,
Probably gonna cost less money and time for that, quite honestly, to do all that.
I'm sorry,
It's gonna cost less time and money to do what you're talking about.
we're on.
So right now, as it stands, I have a generator in his building. And I said I would not move it until that garage becomes open.
So you're gonna put it up here.
Yeah.
Do we have any other place to put it?
No,
Nothing down at the other barn?
all 3 bays are cold.
Okay,
That's a small challenge that can be.
small challenge. But thank you for bringing it up. So that's on record too. So,
The other item is, I mean, here's another option too. I mean, this, great. It makes sense right now. The other thing is that if this development stuff starts coming, your cash flow is gonna start changing as well too. So then at that point in time, maybe it looks better to look at a town hall at that point in time. But if you invest all this money in here, then it's kind of a moot point.
we're not gonna get any revenue from
several
development for
No, it'll be
several years.
It'll be several years. I don't
And
disagree
on
with
top of
that.
that, at the conversation I heard, it's kind of spoken for.
Right.
To cover the bond.
Gotcha.
Georgia,
Well, that's not necessarily.
Yeah.
We have about $1 million available to build a town hall. It's been growing over 10 years. You can get a bond, you can issue debt. We don't have any debt in Battleground right now. You can issue debt to put 3 cents, 4 cents, whatever on your tax rate to whatever loan you have to get to finish a construction for the kind of town hall that you want. You can get a debt rate to do that. It's a little more complicated now than it was last year before they changed everything, but it can be done. If your community agrees to it, you have to go through the advertising process and let people comment on it.
but the bottom line is, we've talked about a new town hall for
Since I've been on-
10 years.
since I've been here.
And it bounces back and forth and whatever. So, okay, and they talk about how this was formed, there's cracks. It was done in 6x6 pours, there's cracks, it's heaved. When it rains, that stench comes up through there. 2 quotes. They'll level it, they'll seal all the joints, take care of the drainage issues, kick out that wall. And I'm just talking about, whatever the interior decoration is, I have no idea, for under $100,000.
It'll smell better in here if you get rid of this carpet.
Chad, go for it.
I'm just saying, if we're gonna do this, we might hit up Tiffany School Court.
Yeah.
They are building, they just opened their new boardroom or about ready to open it. They're gonna get rid of their old horseshoe. If we're interested in having something like that in our new town hall, we might be able to get something like that on cheap.
Well, I'm on to it. BJ's got room down there to,
Just saying, like, they might part ways with it for $1,000, like that, you know.
Money's on the dollar.
Mary Jo, do you have any comments? I know that you didn't see the beautiful rendition, but,
Put one in my mailbox.
okay. So. Feedback on that general scenario
The
of,
biggest part is we've never been able to find, nobody's ever settled on land. That's the hardest part that it seems to be. I'm working on that part with my wife for like building a house too, so I know it's back.
It's all doable. It's all I mean, there
It
is
is.
land had at a price. It's all doable, but we keep getting away from that core value of what do you want the town hall to do for you? And then figure it out. We keep getting off onto side things of, well, this is available, what fits there, and this is available, what fits there, but sticking to the core value that you said you wanted a community space, you wanted a possibly an outdoor venue space. There was, I mean, we had, I can't even remember them all now, but there was like 4 or 5 things where you said, yeah, this is what we want our town hall to do for us. And then pick a space that fulfills that, and part of it is gonna be selling it to the community, whatever. I mean, is the community gonna say pouring 100,000 into this location, a good use of their money? I don't know, we never really got to the point of involving the community in that decision.
well, counselors, you wanna wait another 5 years? Or Georgia, do you wanna put up with your existing building? You know, I guess I'm not. Whatever, you know,
In a perfect world, we would go down and negotiate with Tecumseh Land. I mean, I'm just shooting it. If we're shooting out ideas, here's my idea.
Awesome.
Go down and
That's the ones on this side.
negotiate with Tecumseh Land and build our town hall, park, etc. in that 75 feet of buffer zone that keeps somebody from developing the rest, because that's the thing. That's the hinge pin for us to get somebody to develop the rest of it, to fund the TIF pays for the gateway project.
Where's that at? Where's that 75-foot buffer situation? How's that panning out?
From it would be about 5 acres from the 600 and the substation back to the last house before the easement or the sewer goes through.
That was being worked on to potentially mitigate that, right? Is that not
Well,
going anywhere?
yeah, that's what that it would require their agent to get together with some developers and go to people and say, here's what we can do, and I don't see that happening.
or it takes a third party of some sort to contact all those homeowners and
Try to
get an agreement.
75-foot buffer through there. Oh, it's bigger than that. Never, that's another subject.
Okay,
Something to chew on until this.
I think it was 4 by 10 here. All those areas that go and wish list.
Mhm.
Has it at this?
Yeah.
this one had, so.
I'll bring up another one is, all the engineering's done on the solar project, the solar array for the, what's it called? And all we gotta do is decide that Greg Marks has said he has earmarked some money for that, but again, you know,
2 items with that one, I guess, not to interrupt you, but obviously, we're talking about potential for having to expand plant, which again, I don't know where that with Provincetown. Have we heard anything more from the state as far as that goes? With what they're doing down there potentially? And or obviously, we were talking that we might have to upgrade the plant with any of the development that goes out this way, so that kind of infringes that. I'm just throwing that out.
I'm aware of that,
Yeah,
but it's,
so we're not hearing anything.
but I don't know if the footprint of plant expansion would interfere with wherever the proposed
I guess we would need to take a look at
solar
that,
array
make sure
would go.
that's
Um,
viable.
so, I brought up an idea of renovation this building or kick it down the road and talk about it later?
I'm open to renovating this building. I don't know the other options either, so. I don't know what the other options are right now, or
Well,
what that wish list was. for each town hall.
historically, we've looked at numerous sites and trying to figure out a footprint to go into that, okay? And George has brought up about a community center, which has been discussed, but you know, that's a wish list, you know, a park has been a wish list. I mean, we have all these wish lists, but in the meantime, we have this building, you know, it's not getting any better, it's not, you know, we've got drainage issues, we got uneven floor issues, you got, you know, health issues from gas coming up from it. Just bring it up. Mary Jo, you got any comments?
No, not tonight.
Not tonight. Okay, with anything else on the agenda period?
Yeah,
What,
the sidewalk on Liberty,
sidewalk?
yeah.
The last discussion was, I'm looking for data. I'm looking for hard data. Okay,
I had a meeting with John.
yes,
And I told him what the price was, and between, one was 43,000, one was 44,000. And I asked him, I said, can TSC help with half of it or whatever? He said, well, they're cutting my budget, he said, for supplies. And he said, let me check and see if they can get some grants. And I told him, I said, the president, I said, want some hard numbers on, you know, the
traffic,
school, yeah.
vehicular and pedestrian.
And we talked about it, and I said, we still have time this year, or we can postpone it till next year. He said, I do make sure that the kids are safe. He said, when they are walking. He said, I have either teacher's helpers or another teacher, he said, in the back and the front. So that's where it stands right now.
And it's been suggested, paint a sidewalk along this one side of it and have it designated, you know, so that people are aware that pedestrians, whoever it is, kind of walk it. Don't know how much merit that has.
Well, that'd be fine, but that's an awful narrow road too.
You're right.
And then they park on both sides off the road.
I know. Any other comments on that? Okay, any other comments, anything? Mary Jo, you got any comments?
I'd just like to make a motion if I could.
Only after you tell us how Nebraska is.
It's really good. I'm having a great time.
Rub it in. Thank you. Go for it.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
So moved. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, you guys. I miss you.
Jansen, did you learn anything tonight?